Imagine this moment in vivid detail. You are deep in the backcountry of the Pacific Northwest, miles from any road, no cell service, no other human presence for hours. The trail is narrow, overgrown with ferns, moss, and fallen branches. Late afternoon sun filters through thick evergreen canopy in thin golden shafts that barely reach the forest floor. The air smells of damp earth, pine resin, and wet leaves. It is quiet, almost too quiet, except for the soft, rhythmic crunch of your boots on the pine needle carpet. Then, the air changes, suddenly, sharply. A cold spot sweeps past you without warning, like stepping through an open industrial freezer door in the middle of a summer day. Your breath fogs instantly in front of your face. Your phone in your pocket glitches, screen flickers wildly, battery indicator drops 30 to 40% in seconds, GPS freezes on the last known position. The birds, which had been chirping sporadically, stop mid-note. Complete, oppressive, unnatural silence descends like a heavy blanket. You feel it before you see it. Eyes on you, intelligent, patient, ancient. You turn slowly, heart rate spiking, and there it is, a tall humanoid figure, at least 7.5 to 9 feet high, standing perfectly still about 40 to 50 yards away among the trees. Its body shimmers, almost completely transparent, like liquid heat haze, distorted mirror glass, or a living mirage made flesh. You can see the trees, rocks, ferns, and underbrush directly through its form, refracted, wavering, as if looking through thick, rippling water. The outline is vaguely human, elongated arms hanging too low, narrow torso, head slightly tilted forward. But the proportions are wrong. Far too tall, far too thin, limbs unnaturally long and slender. It doesn't move at first, just stands there, watching. Then it does. In a single, fluid, impossible motion, a blur too fast for the human eye to fully track, it covers 30 to 40 yards without seeming to take a single step. No sound of feet crushing leaves or snapping twigs, no rustle of branches, just instant relocation. One moment distant, the next much closer. You freeze, heart slamming so hard you swear it can hear the blood rushing in your ears. The figure tilts its head, slow, deliberate, almost curious, mimicking human body language in a way that feels deeply wrong. Then it simply fades. Opacity drops from 50% to 0 in the space of a few heartbeats. Gone. No trace left behind. No footprints in the soft earth. No broken branches. Nothing. You stand there for long minutes, perhaps longer, unable to move. The cold lingers on your skin like frost. The silence presses in, heavier than before. This is not a Bigfoot sighting. This is not a skinwalker. This is not heat mirage, pareidolia, or hallucination. This is the phenomenon known as the Glimmer Men, nearly invisible, highly refractive humanoid entities that have been reported in America's most remote wilderness areas for decades. But in late 2025 and throughout the entirety of 2026, the encounters have surged to unprecedented, record-breaking, almost overwhelming levels. Thermal cameras, now standard equipment for serious hunters and backcountry enthusiasts, capture human-shaped cold voids, moving at speeds no known creature could achieve. Hunters report being watched intensely, intelligently, relentlessly by something they can barely see even with high-end optics. Trail cams trigger repeatedly in the dead of night. Frames show nothing visible to the naked eye, but audio captures heavy, deliberate breathing, low metallic clicks, sometimes distorted mimicry of human voices calling out first names, phrases like "over here," or even full sentences in eerily perfect imitation. The Glimmer Men are no longer rare anomalies whispered about in old forums. In 2026, they are everywhere, and they are getting closer. Tonight, we dive deeper than any previous exploration has dared into one of the most rapidly evolving, most terrifying, and least understood paranormal phenomena in modern America: the Glimmer Men surge of 2025 and 2026. We trace the earliest credible reports from the scattered 1990s accounts through the quiet buildup of the 2010s. We examine in exhaustive detail the dramatic explosion of evidence in late 2025 and the full-year surge of 2026. Fresh thermal footage, multi-angle eyewitness accounts, trail cam captures, drone anomalies, and cross-verified reports. We listen to raw, first-hand, often emotional testimonies from hunters, hikers, military veterans, backcountry guides, search and rescue personnel, and researchers who have seen them up close, some multiple times. We connect the dots, irrefutably and in depth, to missing 411 disappearance clusters, Bigfoot cloaking behavior, Skinwalker Ranch skin technology reports, and the new wave of UAP/trans-medium anomalies emerging from official disclosures and whistleblower testimony. We explore every major theory in exhaustive, unflinching detail. Interdimensional travelers slipping through thin places in remote forests, biological entities with advanced natural refractive camouflage, escaped or released government black project experiments involving stealth or holographic technology, extraterrestrial scouts or living biological probes monitoring wilderness zones, or something far older, ancient forest guardians or watchers from Native American lore that have always shared the woods with humanity, now becoming dramatically more visible and active as human encroachment, environmental stress, and collective attention reach critical mass. And we confront, without flinching, the single most chilling, most persistent question that keeps every single experiencer awake at night. What do they want? And why, in 2026, are they suddenly getting so much closer and so much more frequent? The phenomenon did not begin in 2025. The earliest credible reports are scattered through the 1990s, isolated, fragmentary, often dismissed as misidentified hunters, heat mirages, or simple fatigue. A documented 1997 account from Washington's Olympic Peninsula, a logger working a remote clear-cut felt an intense, unshakable sensation of being watched for 3 consecutive days. On the 4th day, he finally saw it, a tall, shimmering figure standing motionless among the remaining trees, visible only when it shifted position slightly. It vanished the instant he blinked, as if it had never been there at all. Similar isolated stories emerged quietly from Oregon's Cascades, Idaho's Panhandle, Northern California redwoods, and even parts of the Northern Rockies, but most were never reported publicly. Fear of ridicule was too strong. Fear of sounding insane was stronger. The real buildup began around 2018-2020. Hunters in the Washington Cascades started posting blurry cell phone photos on private forums, tall, distorted shapes that looked vaguely human but weren't, as if someone had taken a photo of a person and then smeared it with a heat wave filter. Thermal imagers, increasingly common and affordable among serious outdoorsmen, began showing consistent anomalies, cold voids shaped like tall, thin humanoids, emitting almost no body heat, moving at speeds impossible for any known creature. By 2023, the term Glimmer Man went viral after the now infamous thermal clip from a Montana elk hunter, a 7 to 8 foot cold spot moving parallel to him through thick timber at over 30 miles per hour, faster than any human could sprint in that terrain, then abruptly stopping, turning its head directly toward the camera, and vanishing.
The name stuck, and the floodgates began to creak open. The 2025-2026 surge has been nothing short of explosive, a true phenomenon escalation. Reddit communities r/high strangeness, r/missing 411, r/paranormal, r/cryptozoology, and r/backwoods creepy overflow with hundreds, then thousands of new reports. TikTok and YouTube shorts are flooded with shaky, often terrified footage, shimmering figures crossing trails in broad daylight, vanishing into thin air mid-stride. Trail cams trigger repeatedly in the dead of night. Frames show nothing visible to the naked eye, but audio captures heavy, deliberate breathing, low metallic clicks, sometimes distorted mimicry of human voices calling out first names, phrases like "over here," "come closer," or even full sentences in eerily perfect imitation. Key patterns emerging from the 2025-2026 surge based on hundreds of verified reports. Height, 7 to 9 feet, extremely elongated and thin, almost skeletal in proportion. Appearance, semi-transparent to fully refractive, like liquid heat haze, distorted mirror glass, or a living mirage made solid. Movement, bursts of impossible speed, 20 to 50 yards in under 1 second, with no visible steps, no ground disturbance, no sound. Behavior, intense, prolonged observation, mimics human postures, standing casually, leaning against trees, tilting head curiously, approaches slowly, then retreats rapidly, rarely aggressive, but deeply psychologically unsettling. Physical effects on witnesses, sudden cold spots sweeping across the skin, immediate electronics failure, phones die, cameras glitch, GPS locks, nausea, vertigo, temporary paralysis, overwhelming sense of dread and being scanned. No physical traces, zero footprints, broken branches, disturbed vegetation, hair or scat ever. Primary hotspots: Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, Appalachians, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ozarks, Missouri, Arkansas, Northern Rockies, and emerging reports from Upper Peninsula, Michigan, Northern Minnesota, and parts of the Adirondacks. Witness accounts from the 2025-2026 surge, raw, firsthand, often emotional. Washington elk hunter, anonymous, thermal footage widely shared in late 2025. I saw it clear as day on the thermal, cold spot shaped like a tall man. It ran parallel to me for 200 yards at full sprint speed through thick timber, then just stopped, turned its head directly toward the camera, and vanished. My rifle scope fogged up instantly. I haven't hunted alone since that day. Appalachian hiker, Shenandoah National Park, spring 2026. It was right in front of me, maybe 20 feet away. I could see the trees, rocks, everything straight through its body. It raised an arm like it was waving hello, slow, almost polite. Then it blurred like bad TV static and was suddenly behind me. I ran for over an hour straight. My watch said only 8 minutes had passed. I still hear footsteps behind me sometimes. Ozarks deer hunter, thermal cam capture late 2025. The cam picked up a cold humanoid shape standing 30 yards away in the middle of the night. It moved fast, then faded completely. The next morning, my tree stand was ripped apart, boards splintered, straps cut. No claw marks, no tracks, nothing. Just gone. I sold my property 2 weeks later. The connections to other major phenomena are now impossible to ignore, and they are multiplying.
Missing 411 clusters overlap almost perfectly with Glimmer Men hotspots. Disappearances occur near granite outcrops, berry patches, dense timber, water sources, exactly the places where shimmer sightings are most frequent and intense. David Paulides patterns, sudden vanishings, dogs losing sense abruptly, bodies found in previously searched areas, paradoxical clothing removal, align disturbingly well with Glimmer Men behavior. Bigfoot researchers have long documented cloaking behavior, creatures vanishing mid-stride, becoming nearly invisible or blending into surroundings. Many now believe Glimmer Men are either the same entities using advanced refractive camouflage, a variant subspecies, or a separate phenomenon that shares the same territory and possibly the same origins. Skinwalker Ranch reports of skin technology, entities that shift appearance, become transparent, phase in and out of visibility, or wear different forms, mirror Glimmermen descriptions with eerie, almost exact precision. Ranch investigators note similar cold spots, electronic failures, intense being watched sensation, and the feeling of being scanned or studied. The newest and most explosive link, UAP/transmedium phenomena. 2025-2026 whistleblowers, leaked documents, and congressional hearings describe craft and entities that shift visibility, phase through solid objects, exhibit cloaking or refractive camouflage, and move with impossible speed. Some speculate Glimmermen are biological drones, scouts, living probes, interdimensional, extraterrestrial, or black project hybrids deployed to monitor remote wilderness areas where human activity intersects with anomalous zones. Major theories expanded and cross-referenced: interdimensional travelers, beings native to parallel realities, slipping through thin places in remote forests where the veil is weakest, perhaps using natural portals near granite or water. Advanced biological camouflage, natural predators or entities with extreme refractive skin, like cuttlefish or octopus camouflage, scaled to humanoid size and intelligence. Government black project experiments, escaped or released test subjects, drones or holographic entities from classified stealth, cloaking, or transhuman programs. Extraterrestrial scouts, living biological probes or drones monitoring human activity in wilderness zones using refractive tech for stealth observation. Ancient forest guardians, entities from Native American lore, as in watchers, forest spirits, shadow people, that have always existed in the woods, now becoming dramatically more visible and active due to human encroachment, deforestation, climate stress, and collective attention reaching critical mass. In 2026, the surge shows no signs of slowing. If anything, it is accelerating. New thermal footage emerges weekly, sometimes daily. Hunting groups refuse to go out alone. Many cancel seasons entirely. Backcountry hikers carry extra batteries, bear spray, and report the same cold dread before sightings, often multiple times in a single trip. The Glimmer Men are not hiding anymore. They are watching, closely, intelligently, patiently. And in 2026, they are getting closer than ever before and more numerous. The next time you're deep in the woods, alone, far from help, pay attention. When the birds stop singing mid-note, when the air turns suddenly, painfully cold, when you feel eyes on you, intense, unblinking, but see nothing, look closer, because something is there, something shimmering, something watching, and it's not going away. It's getting closer.